Breaking the pattern, belief systems in motocross. Every rider operates inside two overlapping realities. One, their personal belief system. Two, the belief system of the sport itself. Your personal beliefs are shaped by how you were raised, by your parents, your teachers, your early role models, your wins, and your mistakes. They become your internal operating system. Then you enter the motocross world and meet a second operating system. This is the industry belief system, what people think the sport should be, how riders are meant to train, which bikes are fast, which riders are going places, what path you're supposed to follow. Most people never question either system. They absorb both and run their racing careers based on inherited beliefs. What you see isn't always the whole story. Imagine being a rider watching Cole Davies this season. You hear he's working with Ben Townley. The commentators mention it. The narrative spreads, that's why he's Rookie of the Year. But that's only the surface layer of reality. What most people won't mention is the years of foundational work Cole did with Greg Moss, long before he worked with Ben. The timing, the decision-making, the foundational technique, the mindset groundwork. The industry belief system only sees what's visible now. Success is built on what's been invisible for years. The industry doesn't just reflect beliefs, it shapes them. If you went back 12 years, the dominant belief in motocross was clear: speed over everything. Riders were celebrated for being aggressive, loose, wild, even reckless. Technique was secondary. Control and body position weren't seen as essential. They were seen as style choices. But now, thanks to riders like Jet Lawrence, the entire conversation has shifted. Now people are finally starting to value smoothness, technical mastery, efficient movement, subtlety under pressure. The irony? This isn't new. Back in the 1980s, David Bailey was already embodying this approach. They called him the young professor because his riding was so technical, fluid, and deliberate. He was ahead of his time, and for a while, his way of riding became the standard. But then it changed again. The sport forgot its own wisdom. It moved toward chaos and aggression. It glorified speed over skill. And now, with Jet Lawrence, we're back full circle. His technique has become the new gold standard, the new belief system people are trying to emulate. But here's what most people overlook. If Jet, Hunter, and their dad Darren had followed what the industry was celebrating at the time, if they'd chased speed over skill, aggression over control, this shift might never have happened. What you're seeing now is the result of not buying into the mainstream system. They committed to a different approach, even when it wasn't popular. They trained in a way that prioritized refinement, not chaos. And now the entire sport is playing catch-up. That's how change happens. It's often one family, one rider, one team that dares to think differently and proves there's a better way. The sport dictates what people focus on. And if you're not careful, your own development gets hijacked by whatever the culture is currently celebrating. Even your goals can be shaped by someone else's spotlight. Some beliefs serve you, others sabotage you. Not all beliefs are bad. Some beliefs fuel performance and reinforce progress. I can learn anything. I recover quickly. I always stay calm under pressure. But others do the opposite. I'm not good at starts. I always crash in the mud. This bike just doesn't suit me. These aren't throwaway thoughts, they are programs. Once you install a belief, your subconscious starts running it in the background of every session, every lap, every decision. Your brain is a pattern-matching machine. This might sound spiritual or woo-woo, but it's actually pure cognitive neuroscience. Once you accept something as true, your brain looks for confirmation, filters out contradictions, repeats supporting behaviors automatically. That's the job of your reticular activating system, RAS, the brain's built-in filter that only lets in information that aligns with your beliefs and blocks out what doesn't. What you focus on, you find. What you doubt, you don't even notice. If you believe you're not a good starter, you'll hesitate slightly at the gate. You'll doubt your throttle timing. Your posture will be uncertain. And just like that, you'll reinforce the very outcome you feared. You'll prove yourself right, not because it was true, but because your brain needed your beliefs to be right. You don't ride the bike, you ride your beliefs, and your brain makes sure you don't betray them. And some beliefs aren't even yours. The most dangerous beliefs are the ones you never chose. These are group paradigms, passed down through the sport, echoed in the paddock, embedded in commentary, and absorbed from a young age. They sound like you need to be at a facility to make it. Only KTMs win. If you're not showing by age 14, you've missed it. Privateers don't get hole shots. There's no money in this sport. These aren't facts, they're just repeated opinions that became truth because no one questioned them, until someone did. So what's the solution? Start treating beliefs like tools. Keep what serves you, challenge what doesn't. Discard what was never yours to begin with. The rest of this chapter will show you exactly how, with real examples of riders who defied the system, shattered assumptions, and rewrote what was possible. Coaching isn't just teaching. As a coach, this is one of the most frustrating and overlooked truths. I'm not just teaching new skills. I'm constantly unwiring belief systems that riders never chose but still operate from. It makes the process slower. You can have the best plan, the best drills, the best bike, but if the belief underneath it all is broken, the results stall. The riders who have the biggest breakthroughs are never just the most talented, they're the most open. They're the ones who can think outside the sport's conditioning, are open to new ways of thinking, can unlearn faster than others, and are willing to raise their level of self-awareness. They're not fighting the program, they're updating it. That's where the real transformation happens. Proof that belief runs the show. Ken Rotson and the Suzuki narrative. When Rotson signed with Suzuki and returned to a kickstart bike many considered outdated, the industry laughed, but he went on to win races and take hole shots against the most dialed-in factory bikes in the sport. Not because the Suzuki was magically better, but because he didn't carry the belief that it wasn't enough. Jet Reynolds on a KX65. In 2014, Jet Reynolds shocked everyone at the FIM Junior World Championships by pulling the hole shot and leading 6 laps on a KX65, a bike the industry had long declared outdated and uncompetitive. He didn't win the overall, but finished 4th after a crash and proved the belief system wrong. Privateer Power AMA Outdoors 2025. A Privateer Lance Kobush hole shot, led laps, and battled Hayden Deegan at the AMA Nationals at Hangtown in Moto 2 on a bike most would call inferior. It wasn't a factory engine that created the moment. It was a lack of limiting belief. Club-level illusion. I've seen 125s hole shot and beat 450s at club-level events in the UK. I've also personally taken riders to club events on an 85cc machine and entered them in the youth 250cc class, where they proved they could win, much to the dismay of parents with fully tuned 250s. Why? Because at that level, belief, skill, and execution often matter more than engine size. Could this happen at a higher level? Probably not, because margins are tighter and performance gaps are smaller. But the point stands, even at club level, parents and riders get caught up in the belief that they need faster bikes to compete, chasing horsepower before mastering the fundamentals. Motocross Mythbusters, challenging the collective lies. Myth number 1, there's no money in the sport. False. Hayden Deegan earns 6 figures per win. The money exists, but only for those who build a strategy, image, and performance that demands it. Myth number 2, you have to live at a facility. No. Bogle, Tomac, the Stewarts, Carmichael, Reed, none were raised at a facility. It's not the location, it's the system. Myth number 3, if you're not winning young, you're done. Also false. What matters is development, not domination. A late bloomer with the right structure will always outlast an early peaker with burnout. Myth number 4, only certain brands can win. False. Performance is more about belief, bike setup, and control than brand stickers. Myth number 5, it's all about politics. Yes, politics exist, but talent, results, and professionalism still break through. Myth number 6, he's just more naturally talented. The most dangerous myth of all. Talent is built through repetition, coaching, mindset, and belief. Believing someone is just gifted kills your own growth. The invitation, question your beliefs. Let's flip this back to you. What have you accepted as truth without ever questioning it? What do you believe about your ability, your path, or your bike? Where did that belief come from? What if it's wrong? What belief could you challenge this season, just to see what's on the other side? Because until you question your beliefs, you'll keep repeating them. And in motocross, Most limits aren't physical, they're mental, they're inherited, and they can be broken.